Good morning, and thank you for attending today's webinar, Unlocking Efficiency, an Introduction to Business Central. A little about Forvis Mazar. We are an independent member of Forvis Mazar Global, a leading global professional services network. Ranked among the largest public accounting firms in the U.S., our team members are dedicated to providing an unmatched client experience through the delivery of assurance, tax, and consulting services. As part of the firm's consulting services, Business Technology Services provides analysis, design, implementation, upgrade, training, and support services for accounting and ERP systems and sales and marketing CRM systems. Our end-to-end solutions can help clients achieve their digital transformation goals. At a glance, these are the technologies Business Technology Services supports. Today, we'll be covering Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central ERP. Our presenters today are Brad Walovich and Stephanie Sakules. Stephanie is a functional consultant with Forvis Mazar and has more than 7 years of experience with Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. She specializes in Business Central implementations and support services, focusing on operational aspects such as discovery, design, configuration, training, testing, and enhancements. Stephanie has substantial experience working with warehouse management systems and shipping integrations. She has tackled complex system design for sales, purchasing, inventory, and warehousing. Her diverse background as a research professional in sports, education, and warehousing further deepens her industry knowledge. In addition, Stephanie is a skilled technical writer. Some of the resources we have available in the webinar platform are written by her. She frequently develops client-facing documentation, work plans, test designs, and training materials to support both internal and client needs. Brad is a lead consultant with Forvis Mazar. He brings a strong knowledge of Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central and has system experience focusing on the operational side of the product. He comes with significant project experience in the areas of discovery, design, configuration, training, testing, and process improvement. Brad also has worked with complex ERP setups, leveraging additional software and ISV solutions for sales, purchasing, inventory, shipping, and warehousing to help enhance workflows and meet client needs. So again, thank you for participating in today's webinar. Now I will turn over the presentation to Stephanie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are very happy to spend our Tuesday morning with you to talk about the wonderful Business Central. In today's webinar, we're going to be focusing on 6 main objectives. So core Business Central functionalities, business challenges addressed with Business Central, streamlining operations, improving financial management, improving customer satisfaction, and last but not least, a little sneak peek of Business Central 2024 Wave 2 release. So our goal by the end of this webinar is just to have you feeling more well-versed on all these topics and to see firsthand just how beneficial using Business Central really is. Alrighty, and it looks like we already have our first polling question.
All right, so here's polling question number 1. Just a little question to kind of get us started with understanding where you're at in terms of knowledge of Business Central. So the question is, how familiar are you with Business Central? Either A, completely new and eager to learn, B, a beginner, C, you know what you're doing, or D, an expert. So go ahead and select your answer there and then just make sure to submit when you're done with that. No wrong answers here, just trying to get a feel for where everyone's at. So,
Brad, what would you consider yourself?
Hopefully I'm in the D category. Most days I feel like I am, but yeah.
Between C and D, right? No.
There you go. It fluctuates a little bit, but yeah.
Quick call out too. I know we have a few GP users with us today, so I'm excited that you're here. And also we have a link to the GP end of support announcement within the related content as well. So results are in. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay, so it looks like about half of us are new to Business Central, so that's perfect. We're going to start with just some overview slides. So here you're going to see some of the core Business Central modules. Um, this is just a list of some of the potential ones, but for today's purposes, we're just going to focus on those first three. So that includes the quote to cash, emails, and then managing your inventory. So we'll dive into each of those in more detail coming up. But another overview is for those of you who aren't as familiar with Business Central, Business Central is the only fully integrated stack on the world's most trusted comprehensive cloud. And what this means is Business Central seamlessly works with other Microsoft applications that you already know. Some examples of those are Outlook, Teams, Excel, and Power Platform. And you're going to see a good example of this integration coming up. But no other vendor offers Microsoft's cloud while continuing to be a module, like I was hinting at in my previous slide, so that customers can kind of use what they need today, but over time adapt and expand with their business needs as they grow. So you're also going to notice Copilot is infused throughout Business Central, bringing you continuous insight and assistance to make speedy decisions and help with additional clarification when needed. So again, our last overview slide here is just hinting that Business Central is a business management solution that enables you to adapt faster, work smarter, and perform better. So a truly connected business management solution means that you could bring together your finance, sales, service, and operation teams all within one easy to use application to help drive your business forward and prepare you for whatever is next. So just a little overview for those who maybe aren't as familiar with Business Central. So next I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie to discuss the business challenges that Business Central addresses.
All righty. So here are just a few benefits Business Central can provide when it comes to any business challenges. We will talk through how using Business Central can help with reviewing business health, identifying trends and opportunities, reviewing customer history, and business management. So first, we're going to talk about reviewing business health. So small and mid-sized companies rely on built-in analytics and reporting capabilities. They can use out of the box to help keep track of their business. Business Central provides reports and analytics tools that cover basic and complex business processes. So you can also do ad hoc analysis directly from your homepage. So when you think about analytics needs in organizations, it might help to use a mental model based on personas described on a high level and their different analytics needs. So the model is based on the fact that different roles in an organization have different needs when it comes to data. The higher a role is placed in the organizational chart, the more aggregated data someone in the role needs to do their work. So you can use several different functionalities in Business Central to consume data from your Business Central environment. So, like financial reports, KPIs and dashboards, ad hoc analysis, and also reports. So, identifying trends and opportunities. So, the financial reports feature gives you insight into the financial data stored in your chart of accounts. So you can set up financial reports to analyze figures in GL accounts and compare general ledger entries with budget entries. Dimensions also play an important role in business intelligence. So a dimension basically is data that you can add to an entry as a parameter. Dimensions let you group entries that have similar characteristics. So, for example, groups of customers, regions, products, salesperson. Groups just make it easier to retrieve data for analysis. And among other purposes, you can use dimensions when you define analysis views and create financial reports. Identifying and tracking KPIs lets you know whether your business is on the right path or whether you should change course, et cetera. So KPI reports are powerful tools, as you would know, that help you measure progress against strategic goals, spot problems early on, make timely adjustments to tactics, make better decisions. And lastly, insights into the company's day-to-day operations. And these are all things that Business Central can provide. So as far as reviewing customer history, sometimes you just need to check whether the numbers add up correctly or just quickly confirm a figure. So there are two features that are great for ad hoc analysis. We have data analysis on ledger list pages, and then which is the picture on the left, and then open in Excel, which is the picture on the right. So the data analysis feature lets you open almost any list page. So like the general ledger entries page, customer ledger entries, item ledger entries, posted invoices. So basically enter analysis mode and then group, filter, and pivot data as you see fit. So similarly, you can use Open Excel to open a list page, optionally filter the list to a subset of the data, and then use Excel to work with the data as you normally would. So for example, by using features such as the analyze data, what if analysis, or forecast sheet. Alrighty, and so managing the business. So here we have a list of items where Business Central can assist. So for adaptability, Business Central can enable you to adapt to market trends as your business grows while allowing you to work smarter and faster. So you can do this from anywhere, at any time, and using the device of your choice. So yes, there is a mobile option. For intelligence, Business Central is built with cutting edge intelligence capabilities that can be accessed whenever and wherever you need to as well. You have real time intuitive dashboards and KPIs that allows every team member to get insights into various metrics, allowing for quicker and more comprehensive responses to issues. For financial management, with several modern finance capabilities glued in, Business Central paves the way for better financial management. That's whether you want to manage your cash flow, budgets, or project costs. Business Central allows for shortened cycle times and better efficiency. Also, with Business Central, you can take control of financial data, monitor financial performance, and also make evidence based financial decisions. For customer service, for organizations that need to improve customer service outcomes, Business Central ensures just a smooth and seamless transition from sales to service. So using Business Central, you can get a bird's eye view of customers' details, queries, past interactions, and preferences, and respond to them with speed and precision, and just basically live up to expectations. And then lastly, we have security, which I know is very important for a lot of organizations. But basically, Business Central allows you to restrict access to objects and tables within a database. So for each user, it is possible to define whether they are allowed to read, modify, or enter data in database objects. It's also worth noting that Microsoft has improved security for cloud computing and online company administration to the same level as banking and financial institutions. So I thought that was pretty important to mention. Alrighty, and it looks like we have another polling question. So how can Business Central help improve your business? We have A, adaptability, B, intelligence, C, financial management, or D, all of the above. What do you think, Brad? I'm going to have you answer all these questions
Put me on
too.
the spot, man.
Yeah.
No, I think all are good answers, but I think one sticks out a little more than the rest. But we'll see what the results are. I don't want to spoil it for everyone. So.
Sounds good. Also, something I did want to mention is that upcoming on Thursday, November 12th from 2 to 3 p.m., we have another webinar that's basically for Dynamics GP users that are transitioning to Business Central. So, this is a very great informative webinar hosted by Jeremy Adkins Hill and Jason Lane, and they're going to get into those nitty gritty details, including licensing. So, I know that's a huge point for most people. So, and the results are in. All right.
There
We
we
have
go.
80% that say all of the above. Ooh, Brad, did you influence them?
I was part of that 80%. I'll say that.
Good job.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's go to the next one. Next topic we're going to be talking about is streamlining operations, and we're going to focus on the 3 modules that I called out in my earlier slide. So the first one we're going to take a look at is the quote to cash operation. So here's just kind of an overview slide that kind of walks through all the steps. So you're going to start with entering a sales quote, sending it via email, and we'll show you how to convert it to an invoice, post it, and then even convert it to cash to kind of complete the cycle on this. So we're going to have screenshots throughout the way, so we'll just follow along here. We just came up with an example where you received a request from a customer. This customer just wants some pricing information. So you'll see here, that's what's in the body of this email. In this scenario, we're going to show you how we can eliminate potential human error and data inaccuracies, and we're going to actually be using this Business Central pane on the right-hand side here. So this is all going to be done from Outlook. So you'll see we'll show you screenshots in Outlook throughout the process. So as you can see, Business Central has auto-generated the suggested lines from the sales quote from the body. So you can see there on the right-hand side, we got our, our item, our description, and our quantity. So it pulls it in right from the body of that email and then allows you to select that confirm at the top. And what that's doing, I'll show you here in the Business Central side of things. It's actually creating that sales quote. This is just informative. You don't actually have to go and do anything in Business Central. It's still all being done from Outlook. It's just to show you that, in fact, it did pull in those 2 item lines, the items, the description, and the correct quantity that we're looking for. So we're going to go back to the email, and then for the customer review, we also do have the ability to print and send by email there at the bottom in our little action pane. So if a customer requests an email of the quote for their records, you could do it simply right here from Outlook by selecting that print and send functionality. So that's a nice feature. And then next, we're going to show that you could also make the invoice again right from here in Outlook and not even having to go into Business Central yet. So in that little action pane, you can see at the top there, I have the make the invoice option selected. What that's going to do is just generate this little pop-up that's just basically a confirmation that says, are you sure you want to convert the quote to an invoice? So obviously for this example, we're going to want to say yes. And then one more feature that you could do right here from Outlook without having to go into Business Central is the posting feature. So once you have your sales invoice created and reviewed and looking how you want it, you could actually post it right here from Outlook. So doing it this way greatly reduces the potential for human error and accuracy, and it kind of just streamlines the process while still being able to communicate some of the important information. So I'm going to take a look at the last step, which is truly the first time that we even go into Business Central, and this is just the cash receipt journal. So finalizing this process will complete the full quote to cash process, and again, it just provides communication throughout the whole process and improves customer satisfaction. So that's one of the modules. Next, we're going to look at the email scenario. So right here, you're going to see I have a list of the email scenario possibilities. For today, we're just going to be focusing on one of them, which is going to be the sales order. So you'll see that sales order is the one we're going to take another look at. So in here, you can see we're now within the sales order. We have the email scenario attachments. So what this is basically every time that scenario of sales order is selected and you go to send an email, you could set up a defaulted attachment. So in my example here, you can see my attachment is just a Word document that says, thank you for your business. So nice little attachment that you could send to the customer. And then you'll also notice on the right-hand side there, my attach by default. So this is optional. Obviously, you could choose whether you want that checkbox selected, but what that's saying is every time that you go into an email template, that attachment, so in this case, my thank you for your business, is going to pull through automatically. And I'll show you what that looks like here in a second. Okay, so here's my email template, again, sticking with the sales order example. At the very bottom, you'll notice in my attachment section that I do have that thank you for your business Word document attached by default. So this is nice because it just streamlines the process and gives you one less step that you're responsible for doing. Now you can remove that attachment, just because it came on as default doesn't mean it has to stay. You could remove that, and you could also set up multiple attachments for each of the scenarios. So in this case, I just had the one, but if you wanted to, you could manually default in, multiple attachments, which is also nice. So, and the last module we're going to talk about is the managing your inventory. So let's start this. Okay, we're actually going to take a look at Business Central. So we're going to start with going up into our search menu, and we're just going to do a generic search for the term items. All right, so what this is doing is taking us to our item list. You can see here we're in the list view, but my personal preference is looking at in the tile view. So you get to see the picture and just a different way to look at it. But we're going to start with the reports. We're going to go into reports and then inventory and then inventory statistics. So selecting that is going to launch our, our inventory parameter. And you got a couple options you could select within this parameter list, how you sort it, the sales, include zeros if you want. And then obviously you can search by items, which I'm not going to do. I'm just going to run it blank, which will pull in all our items. So here's our report. So what this is it's basically showing us our high volume products that are constantly being pulled. And knowing this information could be beneficial because if you have a bulk bin or a replenishment bin, you could put these bins close to the high moving items that will reduce your picking time and just increase your overall efficiency there. So that's our first report. Our next report we're going to look at is also here in the items and then the reports, inventory, and then inventory evaluation. So again, we're just going to get our parameters list. You got a couple different options that you could select here. Again, you have your items filter if you want. Entering an item will pull up that item specifically, or if you wanted to, you could leave it blank. So here's our report. Some main fields on here to take note of are the quantity, the unit cost, and then the total value. So this could be strategically used at the beginning of the year or maybe at the end of the year or even before and after a full stock take of your inventory. And it just provides the financial value. So if you want to do a comparison in that case, so you kind of know the overall value of your inventory. So we're going to jump over to our last report, which is our item turnover. Again, we got our item turnover parameters. Again, up to you how you want to do it. You could sort it by item, or you could enter a date like I have it here. But once you run the report, this is going to show you things like the item, the description, and the number of turns per year. So this could basically be used to help identify maybe some slow moving inventory. So kind of the opposite of what we looked at previously, and this could help you make some business decisions if you need to market this product a little more, or maybe you even want to drop the product since it's such a slow moving item. So we all know that managing your inventory is a large but critical part of your business, and utilizing some of the reports like these three we just showed can certainly help make your business decisions and transfer important information. In many organizations, providing information to team members is key to everyone's success. Traditionally, access to key information is limited to only the managers, but with Business Central, companies reduce this barrier by creating efficiency gains by allowing users to have all the information they need to not only perform their job, but also make the best decisions possible. So I think next we'll turn it over to Stephanie.
And then Brett, super quick, we had a question from Sue. If you have a docx file as the default, does the customer see 2 attachments or only the invoice?
Oh, going back to the attachments. Yeah, so I guess it depends on how you set it up. I mean, you would see the attachment for the Word document in there, but you would also see the Word confirmation. So in that one, we had the 2, but what I was hinting at is you could have multiple default attachments. So if I wanted to provide something like marketing data, and a thank you letter with that, you would, keep building up that attachments list as you go.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sure. All right.
Oh, I think we're going to go to tech check. Just checking that everyone is seeing the slide for improved financial management and not a replay of the video. So if we can confirm that, and then we are going to go into the next polling question. Okay. So we are on our third polling question, and it is, what are your thoughts on Business Central so far? So the attendee engagement has been wonderful. Lots of excellent questions coming in. So so let us know. Still super engaged, interested, or are you still on the fence?
Yeah, again, make sure you're selecting submit. Just answering one of the 2 options isn't enough. You actually have to, submit that to make sure you're following along with us and, getting your CPE credits for those users that are here for that as well. So
excellent. All right. Yay. So more than half are still interested. A little under are not sure yet. And that's okay. It's okay. But we're glad you're here and learning more.
Okay, perfect. All right, so now we are going to go ahead and jump into how Business Central can help improve financial management. So some of the benefits that we are going to talk about are, we'll talk through the ease of access to financials, the simple process of adding a new GL account, entering a journal expense, and analysis with Copilot. So Copilot's a big thing now. So definitely want to show you a little bit of how that works. Alrighty, so the first thing that I am going to show you is different ways you can quickly access your financials. Okay, so right here on the home page, which is also called your Role Center, you're already provided with financial insights at the top of your page. Then you have the tiles here will provide you with quick access to various pages and numbers related to your Role Center. So down towards the middle of this page on this Role Center, we have a chart for business performance. We can change the view of the chart and look at the numbers by period length, day, week, month, lots of different options. If we hover over the different sections on the chart, it gives us a little more detail, as you can see here. Over on the right side, we have the favorite accounts. And if we click on this, we can manage the list and even open an Excel if needed. And as you can see here, one of our favorite accounts is petty cash, and it shows our balance right here on the home page. If we click the number, it will actually take us to the general ledger entries page for that account where we can review. So if we continue scrolling down, we have a condensed view of our trial balance showing just various insights and for the current period. On the right, we have our Power BI connection where any Power BI reports we may have can be pulled into this condensed view right there on your home page. Alrighty, so next I'm going to show you how simple it is to just add an EGL account to your chart of accounts. Okay, if we click on chart of accounts, you can add an account by clicking edit list, but I'm going to search for the travel expense accounts because I already know I want to add a new expense account for meals. So I'm going to click on new and enter an account number within the travel expense account numbers. I'm just going to put meals for the description and select expense for our account category. And then under the account subcategory, I'm just going to click here to show on the expense accounts that populate if you were to choose the specific one. And then if I scroll down under the posting section, you have the option to select the general posting type. I'm going to select purchase, but this isn't required. And for tax group code, I'm just going to select non-taxable. So now back to our chart of accounts. You can see our new expense account has been added under travel expenses, except it looks a little out of line. So we're just going to highlight the account and indent, and this is for aesthetic purposes, but it's going to give us this pop-up message that's basically saying, if you're going to indent this account under travel expenses and it falls outside of the account numbers defined for the total travel expenses, it will update the defined account numbers for the total travel expenses to include the new account. Alrighty. So entering a journal expense. So we have several different ways that we can do this, and I'm going to talk through. So most financial transactions are posted to the general ledger through documents like purchase invoices and sales orders. However, you can also process business activities like purchasing, payments, using recurring journals to post accruals, and refunding employee expenses by posting journal lines in journals. So most journals are based on the general journal, and you can process all transactions on the general journals page. But in Business Central also offers journals that are optimized for specific types of transactions. So for example, the payment journal for registering payments. Posting with a general journal creates entries on the general ledger accounts, even when, for example, you post a journal line to a customer account. So the entry is posted to a general ledger receivables account through a posting group. So the information that you enter in a journal is temporary and can be changed while it's in the journal. When you post a journal, the information is transferred to entries on individual accounts where it can't be changed. You can, however, unapply posted entries, and you can post reversing or correcting entries. So with Business Central, you have the option to enter all of your journal entries from Excel and directly import into the journal. So this can definitely help if you need to copy and paste a lot of data or simply enter a lot of data, still using your Excel functions. I know a lot of times we have people who are clients who have a lot of data and can work in Excel much easier. So you can just boop, boop, copy, paste, everything's familiar, and then publish it if you see down in the bottom right corner. And that will push it directly back into Business Central. And this is the journal here. And we have entered our entries and pushed it back into Business Central. So once it's imported back in, you can make any changes needed in Business Central, or double check your lines and then post it from here. Okay, so for analysis with Copilot, getting into Copilot. So Analysis Assist is a Copilot for the analysis mode on list pages in Business Central. So the analysis mode provides an interactive and versatile way to calculate, summarize, and examine data. So to analyze data in the analysis mode, you can create an analysis tab where you transform the data to display the desired aggregations and summarizations. For example, you arrange fields in rows and columns, specify filters, sort columns, and on pivot fields. So now I'm going to show you a video. Alrighty, so for this Copilot example, I'm going to click on items. Then I'm going to click on the Copilot icon at the top of the page and select Analyze List. So this is going to bring up Copilot prompts where I'm going to ask it to create me a chart and show me item description, quantity on hand, and unit cost so I can analyze my items. So I'm going to click Generate, and in just a few seconds, while Copilot is doing its work, boom, it's created an analysis, including descriptions, quantity on hand, and unit costs, just like I asked. And if I scroll down a bit, we can see all of the items in list. So on the right-hand side, we have the option to check any of those boxes and add them to the column. But here I am going to click base unit of measure. And as you can see, it adds it as a column, and then just uncheck it to remove it. And to exit, I'm just going to click on that icon at the top, and it brings you back to the standard item list.
All right, our next topic is improve customer satisfaction. So we're going to take a look at Business Central again. Okay, perfect. So Business Central customer reports allow businesses to track customer sales metric. This information can be helpful in understanding customer needs and some buying behaviors. So we're going to look at a couple different reports. So from the customers list here, we're going to go into our reports and reports again, and then our sales reports, and then our customer sales list. So what this is just our parameters pop up. We got a couple different options. You can select it by a specific customer, or just look at it across all customers by leaving it blank. And of course, you also have the data field. So we'll go ahead and run that. And while that generates, you can see here, this is a pretty simple report, but some of the main fields to highlight are just the customer number and the amount of sales. So it just gives you a fast and easy way to understand customer buying behavior and some of the sales volumes by number. And then it's got a sum at the bottom there, since I did have a open customer search. So next, we're going to stay within our customers, go up to our reports, and this time financial reports, and we're going to go to our aged accounts receivable. So like all the reports in Business Central, you're going to get your parameters pop up. You got a couple different options. You could set your age as of date. You could select how you want to filter it, transaction date, due date, and then you also get another option for the aging period. So in this case, we'll just leave it at 30 days or a month. And again, we'll leave the customer open so you can see some data here. All right, well, that generates some important fields in this report are obviously the customer, and then those aged account section, or those aged time buckets. So this report is just a accounting document that gives the business an overview of its outstanding payments for customers and actually how long they're past due. So you'll see some other important information on here, such as like the amount they owe and also some percentages. And then at the bottom, you have your totals as well. So nice to break it up into those time buckets. You can see in the top there in those 30, 60, 90 day time periods. So last report is just going to be up in the reports section, and then the reminder. So As always, you get your pop-up with your parameters. Some options are, including or logging that transaction or not. And then you're going to see in this case, I'm actually going to select my reminder. And then when I run that report, let's take a look at the reminder template. So some important fields are this one, are obviously the remaining amount of money and some of the due dates, as well as just the total fields too. So if you have multiples in this case, you'll see the total there at the bottom. And what this report is used for is just a standard way to send a friendly reminder to your customers about their outstanding balances, with the goal of obviously getting those payments hopefully in the near future. So using Business Central reporting capabilities such as these 3 reports we just reviewed help increase communication and provide everyone with all the necessary information that they may need. And then I think it's back to you, Stephanie.
Alrighty, so we are now going to talk about the sneak peek of Dynamics 365 Business Central 2024 release Wave 2 features. Before I get into this, I'm going to mention one thing. So when I was talking about the analysis tabs and the analysis mode in Business Central. So for GP users, the analysis tabs are like smart lists, but there's a bonus, they can subtotal. So just wanted to add that in there real quick. Now, back to the Wave 2 release for Business Central. Since we do have a lot of new to Business Central on this webinar, basically 2 times a year, every spring and every fall, Business Central has 2 major releases. So Wave 1 and Wave 2. And typically in those releases, you'll get to do a preview in a sandbox before your environment updates. And then typically we, for Business Bazaars, do a webinar to talk about those, some of the functionalities that are coming out in these Wave releases. So today, I just wanted to mention a few that are coming up that I think would be really great, especially if we're talking for GP to BC users as well. So let me go ahead and dive into this. All right, so view item availability in field service work orders. So you can now integrate, configure, and customize field service warehouses with Business Central's locations. So to manage the synchronization of data, they've added a unidirectional integration table mapping between Business Central locations and warehouses and field service. So to use the new integration table mapping, in Business Central, you just have to turn on the location mandatory toggle on the inventory setup page. On the locations and location card pages, you can use warehouse action to open a coupled location in field service, synchronize it, set up and delete couplings, and view synchronization logs. So in field service, you can use open in Business Central to open a location in Business Central that's coupled to warehouse in field service. So on the field service side, on a products page, technicians can check how much of a particular product is available at a warehouse they specify. So in this picture, on the left is Business Central and on the right is field service. All right, a little bit more Copilot. So completing bank account reconciliations faster with Copilot. This is possible. So basically, bookkeepers in SMB organizations need to import bank statements and reconcile transactions with their bank ledger entries, just making sure all transactions are accounted for, right? So while Business Central already reduces effort through rule-based transaction matching, the residual work to process the unmatched transactions every week remains cumbersome and quickly accrues to lost work days. So Copilot basically reduces bookkeeping effort by matching more transactions and suggesting GL accounts to post the remaining transactions. So the bank account reconciliation feature in Business Central has been enhanced. So it's been enhanced with a few things. First, AI-powered transaction matching. So that It complements rule-based matching and further reduces the remaining unmatched transactions that require review. AI-powered GL account suggestions, where Copilot suggests the most likely ledger account to post any residual transactions to, and offers the opportunity to remember a specific transaction description for the next reconciliation. And then lastly, we have built-in demo data for evaluation companies that makes it easier to experience and demonstrate this Copilot capability to others. So demo data is available in English with 23.1 and other languages with 23.2. All right, this next one. I know this is going to be a big one because 1099s always are, right, Brad? All right, so start using integration with IRS for Form 1099 submissions. So this feature introduces the IRS 1099 tax forms in the latest release for taxpayers and businesses. So the feature integrates with the IRS and does not print 1099 tax forms on pre-printed original IRS 1099 tax forms. Instead, Business Central submits 1099 tax forms through integration with the IRS and sends copy B to vendors as copy substitutions printed on plain paper. So this feature can guide you on setting up and reporting to the IRS. So users can report IRS 1099 forms directly to the IRS using API integration with the IRS using the IRS platform. This integration functionality will be based on a new 1099 feature that was delivered in the 2024 release Wave 1. So big news there, very exciting. Alrighty, so lastly, I am going to talk about getting external notifications when job queue entries fail. So for me personally, when job queue entries fail, it's frustrating because you don't really realize it until let's say you have a job queue entry set up to post sales orders. And then the only way you realize that it failed is that your sales orders aren't posted. And there's no sort of notification unless you go into the job queue entries and notice, oh, it errored out. So now, finally, Business Central has included this notifications for failed job queue entries. So sometimes, task reports, batch processes can take a long time to complete. So to keep people productive in the meantime, this is where companies often use Business Central's job queue to run processes in the background. So if something goes wrong and an important background process stops or isn't scheduled for some reason, being notified about the issue can help you react quickly to resolve it. Now, to be notified about issues with job queue processing, you just have to start by running the Setup Job Queue Notifications Assisted Setup Guide from the Assisted Setup page. So this guide will help you set up your notifications. Now, in addition to in-product notifications, you can choose to manage your notifications through external business events by turning on the Control Notifications with Business Events toggle. So on the Job Queue Entries page, you'll just choose Automate and then go to Power Automate. Then you will create an automated flow to open basically the Create a Flow page. The Create a Flow page contains a notify on Outlook or Teams when job queue in Business Central fails template. So that is already there. So on the Creative Flow page, set up connections to Business Central, Outlook, and Teams, or any other combination of the apps. And then you just choose Next to set the parameters for the flow, or choose Edit in Advanced mode to edit the flow that is created based on the template to fit your needs. So on the left is a screenshot of Business Central with the assisted setup for the job queue notifications. And then on the right side is that Power Automate, which is showing us our template that's going to appear whenever a job queue entry fails. And as you can see, you can edit any of those things. All righty. So, Sarah?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was phenomenal. So much good information. But for our audience, we are on our final polling question. So, would you like to connect with a Forbes Mazar professional to learn more about Business Central? So, we had a ton of great engagement today. We answered a few questions on the back end. And Brad and Stephanie, there's two I'm hoping we can maybe, while people are locking in their answers to this last polling question, address live. So the first one is, are there Excel templates in the system for imports?
So when you do or when you use Edit Excel, you're actually exporting it directly from that page. So from your journal entries page and you click export, it's going to open up an Excel document and it's going to have the columns in the same exact format as it is in your Business Central. And then in the bottom right corner, since it is directly connected to Business Central, there is no, saving the file and then going to the Business Central and either, drag and drop or, importing the file. All you do is click that publish button at the bottom, and then you go into Business Central and refresh it, and then all those lines appear right there.
Beautiful. And then this one, can Copilot be disabled until such time as our network will support it?
Yes, Copilot can be disabled. It does not have to be enabled all the time.
All right. Well, again, thank you both. If I had to go back up to polling question 1 and answer for you both, I would select D, expert. Thank you all so much for your time today. If you're interested in cybersecurity, please check out the link to our upcoming webinar. And then also, there was a lot of interest in that November 12th webinar. So we will include that link in the archive email that you'll receive with the recording of today's presentation. Please check out those related resources, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.